And now, welcome to Non Sequitur with Kyle Curtis and Steve McRae.
I never met anybody like Andy Dufresne.
Oh, I do know what that's from, but I don't have it off the top of my head.
That one's super easy. If you know what
Oh,
movie that is from, then you're one step ahead of Steve. I'm very
yeah, like
disappointed that
usual.
Steve does not know the answer to that. Morgan Freeman and come on, Steve.
Oh,
Jail, prison.
yeah, Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of the greatest
I
movies of
actually
all
read the book.
time.
Yeah, I actually read the book by Stephen King.
Yeah, one of the greatest movies of all
He was
time.
digging. He was digging out with a spoon for years over this head. I guess I remember a pinup girl, but that's how he got out. His
I,
spoonful a day.
I tell you, if I was locked up with Morgan Freeman, I don't know if I'd ever leave prison. I think that might get me to
Why would you
stay.
want to?
Because just sitting there and just listening to him talk. I mean, that's a good way to spend a life sentence. Not that I would ever get a life sentence because I'm not a murderer or anything like that. But
Yeah, he's got a majestic
uh,
voice, that's for sure.
yeah, it's like God. I imagine that's what God would sound like if he was real.
He played God,
Has to. Yeah, he did. That's true.
didn't he?
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you know who else? Who else has? Actually, I'll tell you who I think has the best voice in Hollywood. That is Oh, what is his name? He played the Pope in the Borgias, and he played Alfred in the Dark Knight. Jeremy Irons, I think
Oh, Jeremy
that's his name.
Irons.
Yeah,
There is
man,
a
that
Jeremy
guy can.
Irons, but
Ooh, that guy's got a voice. Anthony Hopkins too. Okay, welcome to Debate Roulette. It's been a while since we played Debate Roulette. It's been probably 6 months since we've done this. So we're gonna see if we still got it. And here's the way that it's gonna work. We're going to spin a wheel. This wheel has several different topics on it. Some of them are controversial. Some of them are not so controversial. I did put Apple and Google on there. I think there's we've got white privilege on there. Are there more than two genders? Do we need gun control? Should let's see. Colors. I did that for Steve. Colors don't exist.
thank you.
You can't rape your spouse. People are born
Oh,
gay.
I really
So
want to see come. I really want to see someone come in and argue that one.
I don't think they will. I don't think there's
Really?
anybody
No, I don't
that
think so
watches.
either.
No, there's anybody that watches this.
I know
But
one person who would, and he wouldn't come on to do it, and that'd be Tommy Hall.
the wheel is set up such that these are the way that you're going to answer them is either you are for it, the proposition, or you are against. It's not necessarily a question. So they're statements. In other words, you cannot rape your spouse would be a statement. So you would say that you agree or you disagree or you're for or against, depending on how it's worded. I've got a chat bot you're going to see in the live chat now. We have a our own bot now called the Nun bot. The Nun bot does quite a few things. Not only does it, like if you're spamming or if you're one of those people that likes to yell in all caps that everybody hates, it will warn you automatically and tell you not to do that. And if you continue, it will ban you. This bot actually now can ban you for longer than 300 seconds. So like we can ban you for an hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes. So depending on what it is, the bot will. So just be aware of that. However, the bot also does a really cool feature called a queue. And what's going to happen is when we spin the wheel, we always get two topics, just in case nobody votes one way on the first one. Steve and I have uh, a, a veto where we can choose a better one if the second one happens to be better than the first one, we think. So once we get the topic, we will then open up to you guys. Now, the way this is going to work this time is a lot different from the way that it's worked in the past. I will open up a queue line for the people who agree first, and then the people who disagree second. The way that you're going to enter in the side that if you agree, whenever I tell you to, you'll on your in the live chat, you'll hit !join. Okay. And as soon as you do that, it's going to put you in a list in the bot. I'll close out the room, and then I'll hit choose from random. It'll pick somebody from random, and the bot will actually let you know in the live chat which one of you won that first round. And then we'll do the same thing for the second round. It should be a lot quicker, a lot more streamlined. The important thing here is make sure that you do not enter in that command if you don't plan on coming on to debate. One of the most time-consuming things that happens when we do debate roulette is the people who vote, they get selected, and then they wind up not coming in to participate. So please, I know it's tempting to want to hit the command or whatever, but please don't do that unless you're actually going to participate. That's important.
And don't flirt with Nunbot. Don't sexually harass her, please.
She's a bitch. Yeah, she will.
Yeah.
Don't come for her. Don't come for her.
Hands off, guys.
But there's a lot of cool things that we're going to be able to do with this Nunbot too. Starting next week, you'll be able to, as you guys watch the show, you'll be able to earn Nun credits. So the longer you watch the stream, the more Nun credits you watch. And then at the end of, every 2 weeks, you get to trade that in for a lot of cool shit and work your way up in the ranks. It's a really cool program. I think it'll be fun for you guys to interact with. Polls while the stream is going on. I can launch polls. You can vote that way. That way we get real-time answers. There's mini games that you can play. There's all kind of stuff that you can do with this thing. But we're going to test her out and see how she does. Throw her in the deep end. But it should go rather smoothly. The way that we're going to bring you in is through Skype. So make sure that you have Skype up and ready if you're planning on entering. That way it will cut down on the time it takes to bring you in here. Once you get in, here's the way that's going to work. You're going to have a 3-minute round first of introductions and to state your position on the proposition. After that, there'll be 2 rounds of 5 minutes each for you to make your rebuttals. You don't have to use the entire 5 minutes. On some of these propositions, you'll find that there's, you just can't say anything else about it and you just want to move on. That's completely fine. Once those 2 rounds are over, we will then go into a 10-minute open discussion between the 2 people where you guys will have a free-flowing conversation, and then we'll do the next round. We're going to try to get 3 rounds in tonight. Hopefully that's the case. Hopefully everything goes rather smoothly. I think it's going to. I think this is going to be a lot of fun tonight. Just real quick, a reminder, on Monday we have Jesse Lee Peterson coming and Jake from Hugo and Jake the Bible Reloaded. If you don't know who Jesse Lee Peterson, please go and become acquainted with him this weekend, because I promise you, you will not be sorry that you did. We're going to be talking about SJW and outrage culture and if that is a positive influence on society. And then Tuesday, they keep coming. We should name next week Alt-Right Week, because Tuesday we have JF and John Perry. So JF will be.
I don't think it was really planned to be that week for that, but it sure seemed to end up that way. Huh?
Yeah, although interesting thing, I saw a document. Andy Worski put out a documentary about JF yesterday, and he says that according to the documentary, JF has switched all of his positions. Like, he no longer is taking a hard alt-right stance, and that's why Andy was kind of going after him yesterday. That he was blocking people for saying things that usually, months ago they were laughing about. So maybe JF's turning over a new leaf. Who knows? We'll see.
I doubt that.
I hope so, because he does have a nice voice, I must say. He does have a nice voice. And then on that following Tuesday, Lawrence Krauss will be joining us to talk about Something from Nothing. It was really cool. I talked to the webmaster for Lawrence Krauss's webpage yesterday, because she contacted me and asked me what time the show was and all that, and sent me a link. And I looked on Lawrence Krauss's website. There was Non Sequitur. How badass is that?
That's pretty cool.
Just remember, stars died so that you could live.
Yeah,
that
so
are all made of
basically
stardust.
we're the results of dead stars. So death. Death is all around us. You're alive because other things died.
It's better than we're alive because God transformed himself into his son and then catapulted down here to kill himself and then rise again and go back up. Stars exploding is a much prettier story. Wouldn't you agree?
A little more plausible.
Pragmatic culture, yes. Kraus will be taking questions. However, I want to say that this is not going to be a. We're talking about something from nothing. We're not talking about any of the allegations that went on with him, unless he chooses to bring it up. I'm not going to turn it into a tabloid hour. So those questions will be fielded unless he brings it up. Just to let you know.
Yeah, I want to talk about physics.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to know. If whatever with that's going on, that's completely fine. I'm not getting in that aspect of it. That's not why we asked him to, and we, hopefully later on in the future we want him to come back. So I'm not going to do a gotcha and bring him on and ambush him with questions. Okay, let's begin the roulette then. So what we're going to do now is we're going to bring up the big wheel. Okay, pragmatic culture. I wasn't saying that you. I wasn't saying that you were going to do that. That was a blanket statement. Just it was the perfect opportunity when you asked your question. That wasn't directed towards you. Okay, so here's the wheel. Dave's going to give it a click. It's going to spin, and then it will tell us what our first topic is going to be. So, Dave. We landed on the moon. All right.
Okay.
I can answer this for you now.
We all
no,
know
we
what
didn't.
Kyle thinks about this one.
Topic one is we landed on the moon. And
let's see what we got for the backup.
Kyle, you want to debate against that?
Well, we always do too, remember? And that's going to be followed up by political correctness is good for society. That's the one we're going to go with, I think. Wouldn't you agree, Steve?
Oh, yes. That's not even a choice to be had.
All right. So the proposition is political correctness is good for society. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to, in the live chat, you're going to see the Nunbot say that the queue is open. If you agree that political correctness is good for society, if you agree that political correctness is good for society, you will enter exclamation point join when the Nunbot appears, and that will go for 2 minutes, and then we'll close that off. So if you agree with that proposition that political correctness is good for society, you may start to join now. So for the 2 minutes while they, Steve, you got anything you want to talk about?
Well, no, I mean, if you noticed this morning, we had a nice little hangout. It was with Jim Majors and Ozzy. If you want to go check that out on my channel, it was fun. A lot longer than I expected it to go. I only like to really do maybe 90 minutes to 2 hours for a hangout. This one went much longer for some reason. But if you're interested in some of the topics we've been discussing when it comes to atheism and how we think that a lot of atheists, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but a significant portion, I guess, kind of falling into this tribalistic type groupthink. Go check it out and let me know what you think. We're trying to steer people away from that to have independent thought. So I really enjoyed having that hangout. It's good seeing Ozzy. Ozzy's been sick for the last, like 2-3 weeks. Just horrific. I think he had the flu or cold. I don't remember. But he and his wife were both sick for several weeks. So it's good that he finally got over that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we were.
I miss old Ozzy. We need to bring him back.
Yeah, he'll drop back on. He's actually said he's wanted to come on a few times on a few topics that he found interesting, but he didn't want to pose. And I just told him, dude, you have carte blanche. If there's a specific topic and you think you want to come on and near the end just to add something to it, by all means.
We have a Nathan Oakley sock account in the live chat. I saw Nathan Oakley's name pop up, and I was like, "Oh well." So, oh man, one of the contestants that we have in here's name is.
I think we should ignore that particular individual.
Yeah. Did just kick that particular individual out, because that is not a
Actually, we're getting
boot him the fuck on out. Okay, and let me start this. And picking at random, and Nunbot she should. The debate gods have chosen Melissa Calandro. So if you see in the live chat, Nunbot has chosen Melissa Calandro. So Melissa, if you will, Dave, how do you want her to get in touch? Melissa, if you'll in the live chat, give us a way to contact you. Or
join the Discord.
Dave, do you want to have her add on Skype?
She can join the Discord, or she can just add me on Skype, which is, of course, Booleaninator. So
okay.
The same as my name.
Yep. If you'll put that in the live chat for me while I get this next round ready. Okay. Let us now go to. Let me set this back up. Disagree. Okay. Here in just a second, we will now do the same thing for the people who disagree. Political correctness is good for society. So if you do not think that political correctness is good for society, this is yours, and we are opening now. You will hit !join. That will bring you into the bank if you do not think that political correctness is good for society. Steve, where do you fall on this?
I fall on the side that I think political correctness, like anything else, is useful in small moderation, but I find that it definitely has the pendulum swinging too far in many cases, and I think there's many cases to be talked about where political correctness has gone amok to the point of absurdity. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's advantageous to have in society to have some moderate form of it, but anything more than that, it just gets to this bizarre narrative. And anybody who has any kind of feeling of persecution or being slighted against seems to want to make it a persecution versus privilege thing, which is the whole basis behind intersectionality. Intersectionality. Yeah, I'm thinking of sex reason. Intersectionality, not sexuality. Intersectionality.
That's a whole.
So yeah, I'm not a big fan of it though. Totally different, right? Yeah. So I'm not a big fan of PC culture. People know that I'm not a social justice warrior. Matter of fact, I tend to be on the opposite side. I think that social justice warriors end up making a mockery of things, and it's just this narrative that if you don't like the way something is, then you have to shut it down and prevent the speech for it. And I just don't think that's the way society is predicated upon. So I'm not a fan of PC culture. How about that? But that doesn't mean it doesn't have use.
Yeah, I'm not to a certain extent. I think that we have to a certain degree, on some things we've gotten completely out of control. We did a story with TJ on Tuesday about a sandwich shop that. All right, I'll tell you that in just a second. The positions are now closed. Quite a few in that. So let's see who Nunbot is going to choose. You'll see it in the live chat. Edge mastery. Is that real?
Edge Mastery and Melissa, you guys need
Okay.
to get a hold of me on Skype.
Was-
It's Booleanator.
was-
It's just spelled just like my name in the live chat. Cut and paste.
Oh no, guys, come on,
Don't vote if you don't intend to come in, please.
Melissa, you should have added Bull to the
I don't know.
Let me see here.
Okay, Fair Whisper Goddess. You
Okay, Melissa.
you still gotta get on Discord. Fair
Melissa can't come in. Okay, so who was the other person that we had? Who? If you voted for you think PC culture is a good thing, Melissa can't come in now. So please let me know in the live chat. I'll wait for that, guys. Only vote if you can come in, because this is what backs us up. This is why we can't get a good start going. Is there anybody that thinks that PC culture is a good thing? If you do, tag me. Or Dave. So what I was saying, Steve, is that there was this sandwich shop. I think it was, I want to say it was near Clemson, maybe. But it had a sandwich that said, let me read it for you. I don't want to mess it up. But to me, this wasn't that big of a deal with me. Here's what the sign said. It said, Tijuana chicken sandwich, big enough to feed a caravan, built high with smoked chicken, lettuce, tomato, pepper jack, and bacon, bordered with a side of pub chips. So good it should be illegal. Obviously, they're making a pun on the situation
sure.
going with.
I don't find that offensive.
Not at all. But the kids at the college there took it to their student government association. The student government association wrote a letter to this business, telling them that they were that this was shameful. The business had to issue an apology for
Would have
this.
never done it. Would have never issued an apology. Nope.
This sandwich board.
I'm telling you, I'm telling people right here and now, every time you write an apology and you capitulate to this type of nonsense, you're feeding into people doing it more and more and more. You need to tell these people to fuck off. I find nothing more egregious than feigned outrage. And so when you what's so big about that is innocuous, for God's sake. I've seen worse commercials on TV for Wendy's and for Jack in the Box, because some of them get pretty bad.
The thing about it is what I don't understand is people getting outraged for other people. You know what I mean? Like if it's
exactly, wasn't it the caravan that got outraged? Yeah,
right. I'm sure they wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think.
No.
It doesn't look like we're having anybody. It doesn't look like we're having anybody that thinks that PC culture is a good thing. So let's go back to the wheel.
Yeah, but you're exactly right. People get outraged on behalf of other people. That's a shame. I would like to have that discussion.
And remember, guys, only vote if you're going to come in. What do we got?
We land on the moon again.
Really?
Let's try.
Yeah, really.
Let's try another one. We already had that one.
I don't know why we even have that one on there.
I do it as a tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, because remember, Kyle doesn't think we did.
Exactly.
Voter ID laws are racist.
Good. Okay. Let's do it. Back up.
Yeah, I like how these topics are weighted. I noticed that as well.
Yeah, that when I was setting up the wheel, I couldn't do anything about that. I tried. That's why there's so many on there. I thought maybe it was just distributed awkwardly.
Oh, I love this one.
What do we
Yeah,
got?
this is a good one.
What is it?
Euthanasia should
What
be
is it?
legal.
Is that the one you want to go with?
Should be legal. I would love to do.
Okay.
I would love to hear that one.
So
I got a lot on that
Let's
one.
do it.
I actually have Edge Master on Skype at this point. So let me ask if they want to debate pro or con on this, since they already voted and won.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Debate. Which one are we going with?
Euthanasia. I love how people are typing in all caps in the live chat every time the nun bot takes them out, and they continue to do it. What's Edge want to do? Hello?
She is typing right now, so give her a second.
Okay.
So she thinks it should be. She's the pro.
Okay.
Go ahead and
All right.
give her a ring, and we'll get the second.
So if you do not think that euthanasia should be an option, that's what we're going to vote on now. That euthanasia should not be an option. So you disagree to the proposition. The queue is open, and as soon as you see it in the live chat, you can hit !join if you disagree with that, and it will bring you into the queue. Remember, only to vote if you if you're going to come in, and if you disagree, that works out for that too. Yeah. Okay. we will wait and see the results. So what did you think about the TJ conversation?
That was good. That was a good episode. Yeah, I know. I liked it. I thought that he did a really good, decent job at expressing his views. Now, I didn't agree with him on some of his points, actually. I would have loved to probably maybe challenged him on a few of the things that he said. But I love his monologues. I think that when he just sits there and talks for maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes or whatever on some of his videos, he adds a lot of insight to things. I do like the way he thinks. Now, again, I may not always agree with him, but he's very articulate and he knows the topics extremely well.
Yep.
Yeah, I happen to like you, dude.
I too. I think that he's a very interesting. Dave, can you mute them until we get ready to go? God knows.
Yeah, that's really hard on your ears, huh?
He's a very interesting guy, and I think he's underrated and misunderstood. Like, for some reason, he gets a reputation as being over the top, and for some reason, the what I see is that people kind of just dismiss him, I think, too quickly because they don't actually listen to what he's saying. I couldn't find anything the other night that he was saying that I vehemently disagreed with.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say vehemently disagreed with. I just think that like, for example, his stance on deplatforming from YouTube and Twitter, whether they're a public utility, whether they're private, I kind of disagree with him on that. I don't think of them as public utilities. Now, could they reach that status one of these days? Sure. And at that point, then it isn't a matter of them just having arbitrary reasons to deplatform somebody on their TOS. But right now, I wouldn't place them at that level of a public utility. They are still a privately funded, corporation, privately held corporations, and they can do what they want. It sucks, but there are arguments to be had to make them into a public utility. And if that ever happens,
John,
then
hold that thought, Steve. Johnny Flats, you have been chosen. So if make sure that you add Bullinator on Skype, and we will bring you in. That's Johnny Flat. You won, and there are 4 backups waiting to go. So Johnny Flat, we'll give you 2 minutes to do that, and after the 2 minutes, we'll bring in one of Bradley Har. You're next in the queue, so you can be getting ready too, just in case Johnny Flat does not get in here. You'll be adding Bullinator. He'll put it in the live chat if you need it. There it is. I see it. The next debate topic should be, do bikes belong on the road? I should have put that on there. That would have been excellent. I happen to agree with TJ on that too. I
What's that?
think people miss that about that unless there is a specified bike lane, bikes should not be able to ride on the road.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's obviously safety concerns. The bike lanes are there for reasons, for safety reasons. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with a bike on the road if it's equipped to do so. I mean, it has to have a light, it has to have reflectors. Those are minimal instances where you're going to have a problem with a bike in a car if there's easy to spot, right? So I don't have necessarily a problem with that. It's the ones that are riding without any kind of lights, any kind of reflectors. Yeah, you can't even see them, and then they become a hazard on the road. But I'm not necessarily against bikes in the road without a.
I mean,
without a bike
I'm
lane.
not against bikes. I'm not against bikes. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against bikes. What I'm saying is, we've all seen it, right? If you were if people on bikes, when a car was coming, pulled over to the side and let the cars go by, that would be one thing. But they don't. They
Yeah, I agree
continue
with that.
pedaling at their pace, as they're going along. There's no effort to get over. They're not the same thing. Like, you cannot be equal when you are on a 40-pound bike versus a 2-ton vehicle. Like, you cannot pretend
It should
that you
yield
have
to the
equal footing
traffic. Yeah,
on the road.
yeah, yeah. You're definitely
So,
right on that. They definitely need to yield. Well, I mean, even like a pedestrian, right? A pedestrian, quote unquote, has the right of way, but when it comes down to it, you in a car, you're going to lose.
right, yeah.
Don't play chicken.
So, lobby your local government to put bike lanes in, but other than that, get on the sidewalk. I mean, just for your
I'd rather
safety.
I'd rather somebody on the sidewalk too. When I used to bike ride, I much prefer to ride on the bike on the sidewalk than the
Yeah.
road. I would be fine with that, but a lot of places, a lot of ordinances don't allow you to do it.
Do we have Johnny Flat, Dave?
No.
Okay, we're gonna move to Bradley Har. Bradley Har, add Bulleen and Nader. And next is Ute. So after Bradley Har, you have a minute to add Bull, and then we go to Ute. I don't understand this. Why people can't? They participate up until the point where they're asked to come in, and then they're nowhere to be found. Do you get that?
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah,
think
why
that
are
they don't
you
think they're going to get
voting-
picked, or
Why are you voting to come in if you don't?
Everybody was like hitting me up to do this again, and this is why we didn't do it for the longest time, just because of this
slow
issue right
going to
here.
get people in.
If we can't get anybody in on this round, we're just going to stop debate roulette tonight, and me and Steve will just talk for the rest of the conversation.
Well, we could
I'm not gonna
discuss
sit here.
the issues too.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Bradley
euthanasia,
Har,
I'd like to talk about that.
I see you in the live chat asking for Dave. Brad's in the live chat asking for your Skype name. At least we know we have him coming in.
So we just have one person in Skype ready to go. Edgemaster, she's ready to go.
Yeah, she's ready.
And which side was she going to take?
Like,
She's
literally,
taking
guys,
the
my
pro.
my Skype is the same thing as my channel name, so it's Booleanator. So if you see my name go by, that's how you spell it.
Yeah. I think euthanasia should be an option, personally.
Absolutely, it should be.
Or do you think it should be for just if I know I think we all can agree for like terminal sickness or whatever, but what if you're just depressed and don't want to be here anymore?
No, I don't think it should be for suicidal. I think there's a fine line to be made between somebody who's suicidal and somebody who's just in a palliative type care situation where they are dying in a hospice and they don't have any chance of survival or anything like that, or just the quality of life is so low. These are very distinctly different things. People that have depression and are suicidal, that can be treated. And that is not a reason to commit euthanasia by any means. That's a psychological issue. And so you can't really conflate the two. But if you have somebody who's medically diagnosed with a terminal illness, who is dying and is in pain, why extend their life? Now, I've had this discussion on Twitter before, and it's usually with Christian apologists, and it's disgusting what they say. It's just like, well, only God can take the life, or life is precious, so every moment counts. Bullshit.
You remember Terry
Bullshit.
Schiavo?
Yeah,
That whole
yeah. I remember Terry
that whole
Schiavo,
mess
yeah.
with that was just cruel. I mean, who would?
Yeah.
I just can't imagine that. True Blue in the live chat asks, is there a subject that you both disagree on? He's talking about you and I. That would be interesting. Is there a subject
Yeah,
you
we
and I
know a lot.
disagree on? We disagree on
Yeah,
everything.
we pick something, but we've already discussed most of the things that we disagree on. But the stuff that we agree upon, that's the main important things. The stuff that we disagree on are very myopic, nuanced, philosophical type questions.
Yeah, the main things that we agree on that are the good things are doubt is a virtue, colors do exist, and triangles are a thing.
Yeah, we agree
as
that
long
he's
as we have
wrong on
those,
all that. Sure. Yeah.
as long as we have those three things, do we have our people, Dave?
We didn't get
Hello?
Whoa.
Ooh,
Whoa.
ouch.
Hold on.
What in the hell is going on?
Okay, audio issues.
Is that? Can you hear me?
There we go.
Yes.
There we go. That's better. Okay. Yes, it is,
You can
Ozzy.
hear me.
Stop it, Ozzy.
Yeah, I was already
Just saying good
prepped
things
on
about
that. Wow, what is up with the audio?
That would be Bradley.
What the heck?
You're killing me.
Is my audio messing up?
Well,
Are you at the ocean?
Got a lot of background noise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you at the ocean?
I'm
Yeah, let's
sorry.
euthanize the bad mic.
Can you go into a closet or something? That sounds better.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
You sound great. Yeah, you're
Okay,
fine.
thank goodness.
I'm sorry. My
Yes.
microphone only works on Discord.
Am I
sound
quiet?
okay.
Am I loud?
You
Do
sound
I
better.
need to put my
It's
shabby
okay. No, it's fine.
Oh, you're fine. You sound great. Okay.
in my mouth?
All right. You're great. So here's how this is going to work. Once again, we're going to put 3 minutes a timer up there. The timer is up in the right-hand corner of your screen. You'll see it in the roulette wheel. You will hear a sound when you run out of time. I'm not going to interrupt you, so I don't mess up your train of thought. So just keep an eye on that clock. You don't have to use the entire 3 minutes. You don't have to use any time. Whenever you get finished saying what you need to say, you just say, I concede my time, or that's all I have to say, whatever you want to do. The question is, or the statement is, euthanasia should be legal. And since who's disagreeing with it? Bradley? Okay. So we'll start with Bradley. And once the three minutes is up there now,
everything's
okay?
robotic for me.
Okay. Okay. What about now, Bradley? Are you able
Y'all
to
might
hear?
have to get it back up in here. I'm sorry. No, it's horrible.
Let me turn my camera on.
You can say that again.
Is that better, Bradley?
Yeah.
Is that better, Bradley?
We need Jack
No.
Kevorkian to. We need Jack Kevorkian to come in here and
Hope
take care of
y'all
the
have a
stream.
backup. I don't like
You
wasting
euthanize the
time.
stream.
Euthanize the stream. My cat wants to type in the chat.
Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you. I can't hear Bradley.
Yeah, Bradley left.
None of us can hear Bradley. Jack Kevorkian took care of him. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. What a. I don't get it. I'm so frustrated right now. I am so frustrated right now. I'm trying.
Now we
I'm
know why we
trying
don't
not
do these often, huh?
Maybe it
I'm
was
trying
an
not to lose my
intervention
shit.
from God to not
Sandra-
let me argue
Sandra
for
said he would-
euthanasia as it is a satanic and terrifying concept.
Well,
Oh.
Sandring said he would come in as a last resort.
Okay.
So let me get a Sandring.
Okay. Bring him on in. Why not? Oh. Oh man. I don't get it. I really don't.
Just my luck. I get to be on the big non sequitur show and nobody's able to debate.
How do you
me.
feel right now? You feel like you're on the big non sequitur show?
Yes.
for the Friday night dumpster fire. Well, hey, we always ask for a dumpster fire on debate roulette. We finally got one, I guess.
Yeah, but during the debate, we want the debates to be dumpster fire, not the mics.
Huh.
With Sandra
Well.
with us.
Suddenly, lots of people are chatting in my ear.
Hello.
There we go. Okay,
So
let's see if we can't salvage this.
Just to make sure Sandring understands, he's debating the con that euthanasia should not be legal.
A bad thing?
Basically.
Yes.
Okay, that's not a position I hold. I think I can do a good job, though.
Okay. Well, why not? Let's see how you do.
Okay.
We're gonna start with you, Edge. You can 3 minutes on the
All
clock.
right.
You can tell us why euthanasia is a good thing.
Well, I mean, I don't have a judgment as to whether it's a quote good thing or not, but I do think that it should be legal. I think that someone should have the right to end their life, and in certain situations, especially when, for example, someone has been sick for many, many years, but will not die from their illness, then they should have the right to assistance. Why shouldn't it be? I would wonder. People, if they do not have to suffer and they know that they are, that is their fate until they have the luck to die. For example, people that are in older age that are bedridden, that know that they could be bedridden for the next 20 years, who are getting basically their food through a tube, and who have to have strangers help them to clean themselves, and or transport them to the bathroom, and they're basically a, a burden to their family, and they feel it as such. Usually people who choose for euthanasia where it is legal are people who were very vibrant and healthy and capable people who get their security in their life from being so, and have had dependence on them, and are not the types to be dependent on others, and they should have this right. And yeah, I feel as well though that uh, suicide should be legal as well, but that's another conversation.
Okay. Cool. All right. Sandring, we'll put 3 minutes up there for you. And by the way, guys, there's a poll out that you can vote on. Should euthanasia be illegal? You have to put in parentheses the number corresponding to the vote. So it'll be 0 in parentheses is yes, a 1 in parentheses is no, and a 2 in parentheses is undecided. And that will go for 8 minutes. So if you want to vote, you can do that now. All right. Sandring, whenever you're ready.
I am ready. I'm not sure what the big deal with all the children in Asia is, but I have a problem. I have a problem.
Oh,
Sorry,
man.
it's just that's a horrible joke. It's been overdone. But I have a problem with societies that say we're okay with you just deciding to end your life. Generally speaking, I'm willing to concede that somebody who is suffering greatly, cannot function, is in constant pain, has zero quality of life or a negative quality of life, I would be willing to entertain doing some sort of assisted end of life care for that. I don't think that keeping somebody in permanent misery is probably a moral thing to do. Against their wishes, I should say, is a moral thing to do. But in most cases, that isn't necessarily what's going on. Some people do have illnesses that they're dealing with. They don't want to deal with it, so they just want to end it. You have other people that are just depressed and decide they want to end their lives, and societies and cultures that don't value their own lives, that they say, okay, well, if you decide that you wish to end your life, here's a 3-step program for you to go through, and we can do that. And I think that devalues human life. It's not a particularly productive thing. So I'm not entirely convinced that somebody who would choose to die in accepting the situations of continuous excruciating pain that has no hope of ending, that somebody wishing to die is necessarily in their right minds. And it's an awfully permanent solution to an often short-term problem. And I don't think that we should, as a society, encourage it or allow it. I don't have much more than that at the moment.
Okay. What we're going to do now, since Sandrine, this isn't necessarily a position that you hold, I think we'll just go straight into a discussion back and forth between the two of you. Maybe you can ask each other questions to suss out each other's position a little bit better, rather than rebutting to each other. So, Dave, just put 10 minutes up on the timer, and we'll go back to you, Edge, and you can respond to what he just said.
Well, I think it's kind of short-sighted to say that they are sorry, that they're temporary issues, and also it's not a lack of respect for life, but it's, on the contrary, it's a more respectful towards the individual. And I think that, like, if you say, oh, they're just dealing with some disease, then you must never have had any type of disease before, because generally speaking, the people who want this choice are dealing with terminal things or terminal issues. And as far as depression is concerned, sure, there are therapies for depression, but there are also people who have struggled their entire lives with, and have done every therapy and done everything they can, and even alternative forms of therapy, or taking advices, or trying to work it off, or trying to sport it off, or what have you, and they've still remained in that depression. And there are people that genuinely are of no fault of their own, yet still in extreme suffering in their lives, and I do feel that they should also make euthanasia available for those people. And I'm not saying that you should just be able to ask, for permission and get it immediately. I mean, there should be some process when it comes to people who, no matter what, there should be some process that they have to go through. Some big process to test whether or not it's valid, and there's no other options anymore. But I think that people should have the right to sign something before their old age comes as well, saying, if I'm in this condition, that condition, and that condition, just pull the plug on me, or just I want this choice to be available for me. So yeah.
Well, we have living wills available currently in our society for, do not resuscitate, do not maintain life on life support. Those things exist already today. And expecting that, or I shouldn't say expecting, having doctors available to end your life because it's something that you just decided you don't want to live anymore. I've already granted that in the cases of extreme pain where there is no prognosis of getting better, in situations like that may be a viable option, because it could be considered cruel to keep somebody in some sort of condition where they're doing nothing but suffering. But when it comes to, some people saying, okay, well, my grandma didn't want to live if she couldn't remember her life, so she wrote in her will that should she ever suffer from dementia to the point that she doesn't recognize who she is or who the people around her are anymore, then she wanted to end her life, even though she's otherwise healthy, more or less. I mean, not suffering from any physical problems, isn't in any pain. I worked at a facility that cared for dementia patients, and even though they didn't know what was going on around them, they were still a very often a very vibrant part of that particular wing of the nursing home that I worked in. And they still had lots to offer. They still had stories that they could tell, even if they couldn't remember context or who exactly was in them. And to be able to say, oh, well, she didn't really want to live with dementia, even though at this point she doesn't realize that she even is. So let's just go ahead and call the doctor in and give her a shot. A society that would just endorse that has a lack of respect for life in general. And it also promotes a lack of respect for life, saying, well, we're going to have a system by which if you don't want to live anymore, we're just going to let you call up the doctor. Obviously, there would be a process, and let you go ahead and end it. Now, even if it's not necessarily an overt disrespect for life, it still, I think, promotes a lack of respect, even on a subconscious level. That life isn't as precious and important as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, yes.
Go
I
ahead.
think that that it's not a matter of you're really generalizing people's experiences with uh, the way that you view things, because for sure, for one person who is demented, they um, are, what you're speaking about. So they're happy, and my cat is attacking me right now from behind. So that's not good, but they're happy. Those some of those people with dementia, and whether or not they can tell stories to their family or to people around them, that's very lovely. And but at the same time, there are people who are not happy when they are in dementia, and obviously people who have dementia go in and out of time. So if someone, for example, was a Vietnam vet and in these days and goes in and out of time, then they're going in and out of time back into their experience in the war, which they wouldn't have if they were not demented. And so you have to look at it towards the individual. In my opinion, you have to respect the individual over respecting human life, so to speak. And when you are talking about respecting life, I still think that you should put priority on someone's experience and their own quality of life over this idea of human life being of quality, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. And the extreme cases, I've already conceded. What we're talking about is those cases that aren't so extreme. And euthanasia, I mean, death, permanent. It's a very, very permanent solution to what may not be a very permanent problem.
But then you have to be more specific as to what you feel is not a permanent problem, because I feel like the things that you mentioned are all pretty permanent. Extreme depression.
Well, yeah.
Dementia,
Depression isn't necessarily permanent.
mental illness.
There's
No, not necessarily, but it's to the individual. So some people have experienced depression from the day they were born until their entire life, and they're already through adulthood and even edging on, senior citizenship or whatnot.
Just on the depression part, this part is possibly or is going to sound very cold and not caring about individuals, but also if somebody's suffering from severe depression, can't get out of bed, crippling depression, and they're tired of it and they can't live with it and they want to end their lives, doing so removes the potential for finding solutions to these problems. And in many cases, I don't believe we've really discovered a good reason for why people have chronic depression. It used to be people said, oh, it's a chemical imbalance, let's mess with the chemicals of the brain. We still don't really understand depression very well. And in those severe cases where people would be considering, I don't want to live this way, they're also, if you just allow them to kill themselves, there may be something that they can find out through working with you on how to fix these problems or gain more information on these problems. Just killing them then, or just allowing them to end their own lives doesn't help anybody else other than them.
Right. So but then it doesn't help if you don't help them, then you're not helping anyone else either, and it could be a combination of both. So you can have a system set up wherein they explore every option before they explore the desire that someone has to die.
My headset's about to die. Let me get back in my truck.
Well, you got 9 seconds. We
That's
have
right.
8,
Yep.
7, 6, 5.
It
4.
died. It died at a perfect moment.
All right.
You know what? Excellent job to both of you. Thank you, Lysandrine, for coming in and saving the day at the last minute.
All right. Thank you.
And Edge, it was a pleasure.
Thank you, Edge.
Yes.
Good night to you.
All right. Good night,
Right.
guys.
And we will now jump right back into it and bring up the wheel. I'm not even gonna say it this time. If this is doing
They
any
should
good,
know
so
by now.
we're just gonna go straight to the wheel.
Okay.
Prostitution should be legalized.
Damn right. Well, that debate was over
Okay,
pretty quickly.
let's get it back up.
Is that something people can actually argue against?
Yeah, well, let's see what we got. We landed on the moon. Social media is a positive influence on society.
They're both a dumpster fire-ish.
Yeah, they're both good.
Do you want to spin for a third one just in case?
I don't think it's going to matter one way or another. But what do people want to argue? I think, didn't we have prostitution should be made legal not too long ago?
I don't think so. Let's go social media on this one.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna go with social media. Is social media a positive influence in society? We will start now with the people who agree with that. So if you agree that social media is a good thing for society, then you can start to vote now. Exclamation point join will bring you in if you think social media is a positive thing for society. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, no, I think it's a positive thing. I mean, but like anything else, things that have positive effects also have negative effects that come with it. Social media hasn't been around very long, so we're still as a society getting used to the negativity of social media. Matter of fact, if people watch the show Black Mirror, it's a poignant, very strong view of the downside of social media effects on society, and it's brilliantly written. It's one of the best shows I've ever seen. And the sad part is it's not even that far-fetched. It's like taking things that already happen, it seems, and just blowing them out of proportion, but to exaggerate a point But social media can be detrimental to people's lives, but it can also be very beneficial. So it's like anything else; it's a tool that can be used one way or another. So yeah, I think it's beneficial. But if you wanted to argue, is it detrimental? Yeah, you could argue that as well. It's both.
I see only when I think social media, I'm thinking about like the thing that comes to my mind is the obsession with they call it FOMO, I think, fear of missing out. There's this condition now where people, when they see other people's like posts, and they're at the beach, or they're going and doing all of these things. There's this psychological condition that is now running rampant of people that have anxiety because that's not them. They're not living that life. I think that it. Are there benefits to it? Sure, absolutely. Is it more negative than positive? I'd probably have to say yes on that. I think in the long run,
Yeah,
I think it
and
will.
not just the FOMO, the fact that you feel disconnected when you're not
Yeah.
connected. You feel that feeling like I'm missing out on the world. What's happening out there, and I'm not attached to it any longer. You have a feeling of separation anxiety sometimes.
All
Or it
right,
could
so we
just be
got
me.
one for that. That would be Jim Majors. Okay,
We don't
so
care what he
if you think that that social media is a negative influence right now in the live chat, the Nun bot should be telling you that you can join. You have to hit the exclamation point in word, and it will bring you in. So if you think social media is negative, come on in.
John Peterson wants to join.
He's in. He is in.
Well, it sounds
All
like we
right.
have a debate because we all know John
Could be.
can get on these things. We've seen
Yeah, they
Kyle
want a
and
rematch.
Kyle and Steve, you gents are assume.
I think they meant
What's that?
awesome.
Oh, okay.
You mean awesome.
Thank you. You're awesome too. I was sitting here thinking, what are we assuming? All right, Team Skeptic is in the room. Got 40 seconds left. Boom, 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 boom. Adam Jubb, the end has to connect to the rest of the word. It's all one word.
Come on, Jim, answer the phone.
All one word. All right. 17 seconds. If you think social media is a negative thing, exclamation point, join. 6 seconds. 5 seconds. Okay. Between John Peterson and and Team Skeptic. Let's see who the Nun bot chooses.
Make it lively so we can keep Kyle awake.
I'm telling you, man, that beginning took it out of me. I got angry there.
Tell people 5,000 times, don't join if you're not going to come in.
I got angry there.
It really is time consuming, to say the least.
All right, Team Skeptic, you're first, and then followed by John Peterson. Team Skeptic, and then John Peterson. Team Skeptic, you're going to want to add Bull on Skype. Same as his name in here. So I was watching, or I was looking up for when TJ come on. Let me see if I can find that. I had a statistic that was interesting. If I can find it. Here we go. All right. There was a Reuters came out with a article. We were talking to Misha Popoff the other day, which was a joy.
Yeah, he messaged me just literally like an hour before we got on air today, by the way.
He won't stop. have you seen all the comments that he's left under the video? It's insane. Like it's literally. I think he's insane. It's obsessive.
Yeah, I keeps messaging me like I want to bring him on to my other, my channel to have a conversation. I'm like, no, I really don't.
Oh, well, he sent me a message first and he said, "Was it something that I said?"
Oh, good grief!
Oh, I could have strangled him.
I think there's a disconnect there. I think he's not
Team
quite
Skeptic.
all there.
Team Skeptic, that's fine. We'll send you a VMix link. You know how VMix works.
Yeah, we can do VMix for Team Skeptic and Jim
Yeah.
if we want to. Let me get
You want to bring them both in VMix that way or VCall?
Yeah. But
Jim is now ringing me, so here we go.
But Reuters, this article in Reuters talked about the number of Christians or evangelical Christians. The title of the article is "Evangelical Christians Becoming Less Opposed to Gay Marriage," poll finds. U.S. groups who traditionally have opposed same-sex marriages, including Republicans and white evangelical Christians, have become less steadfast in their objections, according to a new Pew Research Center poll. 62% of U.S. respondents now approve of same-sex marriage. That's up from 57% when the Supreme Court legalized it in all 50 states 2 years ago. So in 2 years, it's jumped from 57 to 62%. And then from 2007 until 2015, it jumped up 37%.
So basically, God's not getting his way.
Correct. By his own people.
Yeah, by his own people. And it's kind of funny. I made the same statement, very similar to evolution. I was telling somebody who was just saying, creationism, evolution is bullshit. And I was like, well, you do realize that since it's taught in every university in the entire world and creationism is not, your God is pretty shitty God if you can't even stop it being taught in the school system. I'm like, your God is impotent in that regard, and they have no response to that. It's like they know that's true.
It's it's interesting to see how quickly their numbers are tanking. I mean, well, you got to think even in this community, you got people like SJ and Cy, who they're on that accepting side too. It's another thing said that Republicans were split on whether, yeah, General Han Solo.
General Han Solo as well.
Then it goes to Republicans. It said Republicans were split on whether they approved or opposed same-sex marriage, with 48% against and 47% for. So Republicans are lower than the evangelicals.
So I got
that's. What does that tell you?
What's your question?
My question is, who actually won? Because I actually have John and Team Skeptic.
Team Skeptic was first, and then John was the backup.
Okay, so Team Skeptic was the backup.
Yeah. Team Skeptic first, and then John is the backup. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting, though. That's a good trend, though. I like to see that.
Well, Team's here.
I just wish.
So is Jim Majors. So we're ready.
Okay.
Yeah,
hello,
can you guys
gentlemen.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mic check.
Yep.
Can y'all
1,
hear me?
2.
Okay, good.
You sound fly, man. You gonna drop a sick beat for
Super
us?
fly, baby. Super fly,
No,
baby. all
I'm
the time.
not gonna do that.
Speaking of which, now that we have Jim here, I think Jim, you should start us out with a rhyme or two, and just in case people didn't get to hear it last night.
There once was a man from Nantucket.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I know that poem.
I'm all rhymed out.
How do you know that
Oh.
poem?
Lame.
You should know that poem, Jim.
I
Lame.
had two. I was drinking, and I normally wouldn't have done what I did, so I'm I'm still kind of recovering from that.
You do a lot of things you shouldn't do when you're drinking. I hear.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what we'll
Steve,
do.
I know.
Since you can't do it, Jim, I'll do what we did a couple months ago, and at the end of this debate, I will do a dramatic reading of a rap song. like I did with Little Wayne's I'm going in. So we'll do that again after this debate. Okay, so
I could send you the lyrics to one of my old rap songs. You'd have a field day with that.
sure, do that. Actually, yeah, send me that. I'll do a dramatic reading of that. That'll be even better. Okay, who agrees that social media is a positive thing for society? Is that you, Jim?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, well, you'll start us out then. We'll put 3 minutes up on the debate wheel, and whenever you're ready, your time will start.
Okay, so I mean, it's really simple. Social media has completely revolutionized the way that we do everything. It's changed everything from the way that we interact personally with our friends and family to the way that we conduct business to the way that we get our information. And social media has become so integrated within our lives and to the point to where they are now developing and more streamlined. Sure, there are many negative aspects of it, but they aren't any negative aspects that didn't exist before. Yes, there's misinformation, but there was misinformation when we were just dependent on books. Yes, there's negativity, but there's still negativity in the just in the arena of debates. And I mean, the great thing is that people are presented with ideas and with concepts and with cultures and with so many different things that they would not normally be exposed. It's great that we have these tools that can allow us the different perspectives and the different worldviews. I mean, it's brought people together so much. And earlier, Steve was saying that he felt like it disconnected people, but I have to totally disagree. Since social media, I have never felt so connected. I've never felt so a part of something. I've never felt so complete. I feel like I've found my tribe, so to speak. And I mean, this channel just attests to the greatness and the benefits of social media. And I guess with that, I can see the rest of my time as far as my opening statement.
Real quick, I didn't say that, Jim. What I said was you feel disconnected when you're not connected. When you're not online any longer, that's when you feel disconnected.
No,
Flag on the play.
No, not at all. No, what I'm saying is that I've developed relationships that extend past social media, but without social media, I never would have developed these connections.
I don't think.
Okay, Team Skeptic.
What I'm saying.
Why?
Okay.
Well, I'm
Well,
not
let's
debating
take-
you, Steve. So
Let's table it.
But yeah, but he said as Steve said. Steve didn't say that.
Flag, look, flag on the play. Table it till the end. Table. 10-yard penalty. Team Skeptic. First down.
Yes, first down for Team Skeptic. Okay, so you ready for me?
Oh baby.
Oh yeah, always.
Okay, so
ready.
yeah, I have not been on social media for about a year. I use it for messaging purposes only, but my personal experience with social media is that I found that not just myself but other people were substituting social media for real world experiences. And it made me think about, how many times had I sacrificed a real world meeting where, and I guess I'll wait to hold off on addressing your comments. I'll just give my opening statement. But I believe social media takes that away from people. I think as human beings and human nature, it's like we thrive off of the human contact. Email and social media, they do blessings for us as far as giving us a way to stay in contact, stay connected with the rest of the world. Like you said, it opens us and exposes us to new ideas. That's all great, but these are all things that you could get by just leaving your house. So you're really substituting the leaving the house aspect, the natural human nature that we have, our instinct to form real tribes, not digital tribes, but real tribes, as you said. It offers that tribe mentality for you. But I think we as humans, we do have that need to have the tribe mentality, but I think we thrive on having the tribe mentality when it's in person. So I just think social media it's killed conversation, or the art of conversation, at least. you now have the ability to sit back and choose the correct response over, a long period of time. Whereas before, normal human contact required you to immediately respond. I mean, you're not face to face with somebody and they ask you a question or they say something and you have 3 hours to form the perfect opinion or the perfect response. And then people think, oh my God, this guy, he's so funny because he has a great response to that, but little they know it took you 3.5 hours to develop that. So I'm not saying it gives people a way to lie about their personality and the type of person they are to other people, but it definitely gives somebody a way of misrepresenting their the personality they would have in person. Like socially awkward people have a chance to not be socially awkward on social media, which can be a good thing until you get to the point where they try to have a relationship and this relationship is built on something they have only acquired from a social media, interactions. And then when they get in person, it's all completely different. It's all completely wrong. This is part of how we learn who is right for us, who is not right for us. This is why we go on dates. This is why we do all these things that must involve human contact. And I think social media is completely taking that out of us as a people. Go ahead.
Boom. All right. I think this is going to be good. We'll do a rebuttal round now for 5 minutes each, and then we'll have a discussion between the two of you. So, Jim, your 5 minutes starts whenever you're ready.
Okay. So one of the first things that you said that really struck for me as wrong was that social media takes away from human contact, that you can get these things just from leaving the house. And I mean, like me, for instance, and many others, I live in the Bible Belt. Had it not been for social media, I would have been content in my belief that I was the only atheist for hundreds of miles, and for niche communities like atheism and for veganism and for all these other communities that aren't really well represented in society, it really provides a place for people to develop contacts, to facilitate the meeting that can lead to potential physical contacts. And yeah, it does give you a way to misrepresent people, but people have been misrepresenting themselves since media began. I mean, since snail mail. I mean, I remember when there were dating programs where you could snail mail somebody random, and you would get a letter back, and you could sit there and communicate back and forth with them. And you never knew who you were talking to until you met up with them. And I actually think that social media gives people the tools to better explore the person before they meet them. I mean, in today's society, people have far more about themselves than what would normally meet the eye whenever you're meeting somebody, say in a coffee shop or something. People can very much misrepresent their past or their present, tell you that they're not married, they don't have a girlfriend, all these other things. And yeah, you can make fake profiles and all this other stuff. But the point is that people have to go through much more of an effort to deceive somebody as a way to misrepresent themselves. I want to expound again on how connected, social media has made me to people, and how many good relationships, and the good relationships vastly outweigh the bad experiences that I've had. And all the bad experiences that I've had were usually from I'll be honest with you, from following my dick. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I think that I addressed most of your points that I missed, that I disagreed with.
Okay. Oh, Dave will reset. And Team
Yes,
Skeptic, whenever you're ready.
I win.
Not
Okay,
quite.
so are you done, Jim? Because you kind of cut out at the end. Did you have any additional points you wanted to offer? Because you did still have some time.
He's dropping out.
No,
places, by the way,
I
on
was.
mic,
I'm
too.
sorry. That was it. I just wanted.
Okay.
I'll just wait to see what you have to say.
Okay, so yes, I will agree with you that there are benefits to social media. The rapid communication is a plus. Anytime I need to get in touch with Steve, I just Facebook him. It might take me 6 or 7 days, but at least I get a response faster than snail mail, which would be about 10 days. So there are uses for social media that are just a quicker way of communication. But when you replace the human contact with the electronic contact, you take a huge portion of the human experience away. So let's say that you have two situations: one where you meet the person online, one where you meet the exact same person for the first time, in both situations in person. So you're still going to be able to meet the person and get to know them somewhat over the you can learn everything you could learn over the internet with the face-to-face contact, except then you get the additional exposure to the other person's emotions. So you can actually see more about, because we as humans, we don't just rely on communication. We don't just rely on the words that come from one person to the next. There's body language and there's other things that we rely on. So I think that we're just missing completely out when we replace human contact with social media. And I mean, like I said, I believe that you're right when you say that the communication is key, because we need to always keep moving forward. We have now email over snail mail. That's a huge deal, because you can instantly send everything you used to take 6 days to send across the country or to another country. Let's see, you refuted the human contact issue, but I addressed that. You said it helps niche communities, and I agree it does. This is one of the benefits of social media. But there are people who don't just look for one group; they look for thousands of groups, and this becomes the dopamine release in their life. Being a part of something, okay, now I'm a part of this group. Let's go be a part of this other group. Okay, let's be a part of this other group. So while it does help those communities with exposure and whatnot, it also feeds into the abilities for people who what we were talking about before, what they were talking about before, with the people who suffer from the I can't miss out. And I made a comment in the live chat when they were saying that my doctor actually told me I had that. I can't remember how you put it, Kyle, but it's
fear of missing out.
I said, I can't sleep at night. He said, why is that? And I said, I don't know. I said, doesn't matter how much sleep I get during the day. I feel like I have to be the last person to get off of playing video games or get off the computer. And he was like, yeah, because you have what's called a fear of missing out. I think that social media kind of helped that, because I wanted to be online. I wanted to see that post, to be the first one to like it, to be the first one to comment on it. I did not want to be the one who missed out on that event, and I'm tying this from when I was younger, having video games, to a couple years ago when I noticed that I was doing this, but I was still doing it with social media. I mean, I wake up, I check my phone to see how many likes my last post got. I think it feeds into the depression of people who are, who have mental problems, where they rely on other people's approval and acceptance to validate their own existence. So then once you have add social media to the aspect, you're like, okay, well, before you were only exposed to this many people, so only this many people said they even knew you had said something, but now you have this millions and millions of people that are on social media, and you're still not getting the exposure. So that can kind of feed into the negative aspect of those people with those problems. The good relationships part that you said you can make, there's nobody saying that you can't make good relationships online, but you're making the assumption that each one of the amount of time that you spent online trying to find good relationships, that you couldn't have found that better relationships in person, given that you had the additional human contact. So, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. It does expose you to other people who maybe you wouldn't have known. Let's say you meet somebody in California when you're in Texas, or you just meet that random booty call. Hey, that's great. Social media has its places, but looking for a random booty call and trying to meet your wife is probably not a good thing.
All right. Now we're going to go into a 10-minute discussion between the two of you. You can ask each other questions. The only thing we ask is that you don't talk over each other. And we'll start with Jim. You can kick this off since Team Skeptic just went.
Yeah, I'm asking him a question.
I mean, you can You can either make
Just an
another
open
point or
discussion.
ask him a question. Yeah, it's just
Okay,
an open conversation.
Okay, so to expound on one of your points, I kind of want to get some clarifying questions. When you keep talking about replacing human contact with social media, and I gave you the example about like people like atheists, myself, like who live in the Bible Belt, who without social media wouldn't know, that there is another atheist for hundreds of miles, much less, one within my hometown, and I wouldn't have known that without social networking. You say that I can apply myself and put the same effort in, but I highly disagree. I mean, how long do you think that it would take somebody to find another atheist within the Bible Belt, and what do you think that methodology would look like?
Well, I excuse me. I was saying the better relationship aspect as far as involving human contact being the more personal relationship. As far as the exposure for smaller groups, I do agree that that social media can give people exposure, like it can give groups exposure to people like yourself who are locked in an area of the country where it's hard to find people who agree with your principles. So I will concede that point, but what I'm saying is that there's people out there who want to belong to everything. I mean, you can go on there and see it in Discord. You see people who send you a friend request and you look and they've got 30 Discord servers they're a part of. I mean, the next time the new one comes up, they're jumping on that one too. They want to know what your Facebook is. They want to know. I'm sorry.
You're taking one extremist view and you're applying that as a blanket statement, saying this is the potentiality of it, and that's
No,
I mean that. Like I mean, if you look at the studies, there's actually a really, really small number of diagnosed, social media addictions, and we've taken strides to fix that. I mean, we've got, I mean, and you can, I mean, it's like food, too much of a good thing is a bad thing, right?
I mean, yeah, you could look at it like that, but the thing is I'm not necessarily saying that social media is bad to help people like yourself find other atheists. I'm saying it's bad when it doesn't stop.
Not even myself.
Once you find. Oh, yeah, I'm just using you as an example here. So I think it's good that you can help. It helps you find other members of the community to that share the same ideas that you have. But what happens when it doesn't stop there? What happens when you go, okay, great, I found another atheist. Now I need to find, now I need to be a part of this group over here. And then you go on social media and you spend all your whole day looking up what that group's about and what their principles are and whether you should be a part of that group. And then you go to the next group once you've found acceptance or non-acceptance in that first group. There are people that do this. Their whole life is online at this point.
Of course.
And that's why I'm saying that it. Okay, go ahead.
But you're applying another generalization though. Those people are few and far between. Like what you're talking about is extremism and people who are being not, I don't want to say gluttonous with it, but people who don't know when to stop, and I mean, as with anything, you have to take breaks. I mean, you have to take breaks from anything, especially things that release chemicals within our brain, the dopamine, serotonin, and all other good and bad stuff.
Right. So it
is important to recognize when things start to become harmful, but up until that point, you can't demonize an entire concept and throw out all of the good for the simple fact that, hey, this might affect some people negatively.
Right. And now you say that the cases are few and far in between. And of course, I don't have my numbers or I don't have time to really look them up and make sure that the case studies are legit and whatnot. But my question to you would be, because this is a newer diagnosis, over the past 5 to 10 years, is the number increasing? Is it accelerating? Are there more and more people that are being diagnosed with this problem? Is it something that we need to figure out whether we need to address it now, or is it something that is completely secluded to a small group of people who suffer from, some sort of mental disease or mental deficiency? That would be the real question I would ask, because we could both sit here and say, because I see it all the time. So you could say, oh, well, I see it all the time, but it's really not that much. We would, neither one of us would really have an argument without actual numbers behind it. So I don't mind conceding that point. I'm just saying that there are people who misuse social media, and in my opinion, it's becoming more and more of a prevalent issue in our society. Do I think social media should be eliminated? No. But do I think that it does more harm than good? Yeah. Anything you can do on social media, you could do with an instant messenger app.
But instant messaging is social media, is it not?
Yes. Now, okay. So again, I'll say that society needs to move forward and progress. We should never stop because of technology that helps us also hurts us. We just need to find a way of controlling the amount of hurt that it can do. I don't think that the ability to instantly communicate with one another is what drives people to have this obsession. I think it's the availability of data online and the, like you said, the dopamine release that occurs with certain people when they find, positive social interactions. And sometimes they just force those positive interactions over and over and over again to keep feeding the dopamine high. And what they're really doing is they're alienating their family and friends who are sitting at home going, why is he not here? He likes my Facebook post. He said on Facebook to be here.
That is all we do as humans, though, is we seek meeting the demands of our dopamine receptors, of our serotonin receptors. Like these are the things that we strive for as humans. This is our human desire. Now you can do things in a toxic way, and you can reach that in a healthy way. And social media is a good way to get it. I mean, but the thing is that social media has developed as nothing more than an exchange, than the facilitating of the exchange of ideas. I mean, you can go look at like say like a hobo drawing where warning hobos of, do not enter this place or whatever. Other hobos are seeing that, they're communicating an idea. That social media, somebody writes a letter like they did when I was in 8th grade. You passed it to somebody and you had 4 or 5 people writing on one letter, a chain. It was like the very first group chat, writing in different colored gel pens. And that's a form of social media. It's just an exchange of ideas. And whenever you bring the internet into it and you bring in the access to other people's ideas and not just people in your general vicinity, you open up to so many more possibilities.
Right. And as I said, there are positive things that come out of social media, but everything you just said, and like when I watch these incels, right, on the Non Sequitur show, I watch these incels and I'm like, dude, just get a personality, just get out there and meet people. Now, of course, this doesn't apply to you, Jim, because I actually like you. I've seen a few of your things and we did our ASMR thing together. So I actually like you. I don't think you would have a problem with personality wise meeting somebody in real life, but these people obviously do. Now, instead, what they do is they turn around and they substitute the human interaction, the actual interaction, the physical interaction with a digital interaction. Everything you told me about, meeting people and exposing yourself to new ideas and just everything, I've done at the bar. And I've gotten the same dopamine release.
David. But you have, and forgive me for putting it so bluntly, but that shows the amount of privilege that you have, that you can ignore the fact that in 14 nations in the world, it is a death sentence to be an atheist. And these people have no other way of exploring their disbelief or finding a common community than reaching out on social media. And to them, this is a lifesaver, because I mean, like take my organization, for example, Atheist Republic, quick plug, shameless plug. We help these people seek asylum. We help advocate for these people that normally would not have been able to reach out any other way.
And I agree that social media in that situation is a great thing, but with every time you could give me one of those situations, I could show you a teenage girl who is depressed because she gets 3 likes on every post she posts,
Sure.
and even if she got 30, it wouldn't be enough. Yeah, right. It's a problem.
And that is a problem.
So we have to wait.
But that is a problem that her parents can treat by giving her a break from social media.
But if social media, I guess, I mean, it's still it's a bad here and it's good here, because we can argue that all day long. I love social media, and I hate it at the same time.
But all of the bads of social media can either be remedied or were pre-existing.
Yeah, but if social media makes more and more people suffer from this same problem, then it's not something that we should just say, well, we have a treatment for it, so let's go ahead and treat these people, but let's ignore the problem itself. See, all the benefits that you have of that you've listed off for social media, I just think that you could get those with, it might be easier. I'm sorry, I don't want to keep going because we could keep talking about this, but go ahead.
No, I was going to say that. I mean, I'll just close it up real quick as far as mine goes. If you want to say something after, that's fine. But I think it's important to recognize that social media is evolving. It's not what we knew. Nobody has a top 4 friends or a top 8 friends anymore. We've moved past the sparkle gifs. We've evolved past the cat videos even. Now it's become a true exchanging of ideas, and people aren't so much after it for, oh, look at me, I can expose myself to the world now. Like, yeah, sure, you still have those people, and you will still have people like the teenage girl that you referenced that can be treated. But for the 20-something-year-old woman who is married to a Muslim extremist who is trying to escape her country and trying to live her life and trying to be able to express her disbelief in God, without social media, that woman would have to live her entire life living that lie in solitude with nobody else to talk to confide in, and would either result in suicide or dying a depressed woman. And with that, I concede my debate or my position.
All right.
Cool.
Well, I'll go ahead and concede mine because I think I've made that point pretty clear that I do believe there's good in social media. I just think that what it's doing to society is doing more harm than it is good, and the good parts can typically be found through other means of mass communication, email, IM. You don't have to have these 30 different sites where you can post 30 different things and have 30 different people like your shit 30 different times. But
I will say, it's funny my routine that I have now, because ever since we started picking up, a lot of people go to either the Discord or Facebook or Twitter and YouTube, leaving comments, asking questions. Everybody's got something going on, suggestions for the show. It's like I have a cycle from the time I get up in the morning. You go to Facebook, then you go to Twitter, and then you go to Discord, and then you go to YouTube, and then you go to your email, and then by the time you're done with your email, you're back over to Facebook, and then you go to.
I started my email.
It's just a never ending cycle. You're constantly checking, which is great, because for me, I like that most days. Most days I'm cool with interacting until you get that one that just tries you. I had, let me tell you so this is probably the maddest I've ever gotten at somebody that presumably watches the show and was given feedback. I had taken a video of my little pug Archie, right? He was kicked back on the kitchen floor with his feet straight up in the air, snoring, like loud as hell snoring. And so I took a video of him. And I had my phone, this is going to Twitter, so I held my phone like this vertically, because in Twitter, as you know, it will scroll that way. On Twitter it looks fine. It's not a sideways thing. I got a 3-page almost letter from somebody admonishing me for not thinking of other people by turning my phone sideways. Let me tell you, when I let it,
You
that
bastard,
person,
Kyle. You bastard.
oh, they caught me on a bad day too. Like, I lit them up. And my overall point, I won't tell you what I said, but my overall point was, if you have a fucking problem with it, don't watch it.
Yeah, block
Keep
me.
scrolling.
No big
Keep
deal.
scrolling.
Yeah. There's a couple things I want to add too.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
I want to ask Kyle a question after you do.
Sure. As someone who has a teenage daughter who's affected by social media, I'm concerned about the narrative that people's personal their personal view of themselves is very much tied to how many likes they get or how much publicity they get. I have a feeling that when it comes to teenagers, there's something to be said for that, right? I mean, most of us we're online, but we've
Sure.
been popular in some areas and not popular in other areas, whatever. But we don't place our self-worth as a metric based upon how many views we get, right? Those are just analytics; they're just numbers to us. And to
Well, I mean,
teenagers, it's not just numbers, and they could really very much think to themselves, "Oh, I'm not very well liked." They can get depressed, suicidal, and so there are detrimental effects to be had on that. And by the way, with Kyle's regime that he gets up to every day, mine's no different. As a matter of fact, I sleep with a laptop next to me, and I hate Facebook. Well, Facebook. See, when somebody messages me on Facebook, it makes it, I never get it half the time, but it makes this noise on my phone. Right, my phone goes off when I get a message on Facebook if I don't turn off the notifications, and I hear this really loud noise in the middle of the night, right, and it drives me nuts. And on G Plus, it makes this other noise, so I know which is which. But I'm getting messages at 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and they're not like they're that critical of messages; they're just mundane messages. But if I don't roll over and check it, I'm thinking, okay, I'm missing something important.
Yeah.
So I lose a lot of sleep because I'm just getting over and I'm looking at the message. I'm not responding to that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
it's FOMO.
legitimately suffer from that problem.
What did you want to ask me, Team Skeptic?
Okay, so Kyle, what I want to ask you is, now answer this honestly, okay? Let's say tomorrow. Let's say for the next week.
You know he's gonna lie to you. He thinks the moon landing is a hoax. You know he's gonna lie to you.
That's true.
Yeah, I know. I remember that. Conversation's over. So let's say for the next week you wake up and you have 0 notifications. I mean, no Facebook, no Discord, no YouTube, no nothing. I mean, you have legitimately fallen off the map digitally. How do you feel about that?
I probably would like it, to be honest with you, at the time. Now, eventually, I'd probably start to wonder, but going from constantly, answering things all day long, because I try, when people send messages, I do try to answer all of them. I try not to ignore, and when I do, it's by accident. And going from that to not having anything for a day, I think would be kind of nice. It probably wouldn't creep into my head until the next day, but yeah, I mean, answering honestly, of course, it would bother. Everybody wants to feel. People can say, "Well, I don't care I don't care what anybody thinks. I do my own thing." Everybody, to some extent, cares somewhat about what other people think and want to be noticed or sought after, or just they want to feel like people are interested in what they have to say. I think that goes for anybody. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it would bother me, of course.
I think that's true, but at the same time, you have to take into account that when you literally every day you're inundated with stuff. It is nice to have one day where you don't have that bombardment, because like Kyle says, we try to answer every comment. I mean, I read my comments not only from this channel, my other channel. I try to read them all. I don't respond to them all, but I at least try to read them all, and I do try to respond to the vast majority of them. But as far as like your net self-worth to these things, I think a lot of people say that they wouldn't care only for the fact that they will go on a channel and just say what they want to say rather than be beholden to some kind of ideology or think that, oh, if I want to make it popular, I have to think this specific way, because there are channels that are out there that if you buy into that narrative, if you get on board with whatever that train of thought is, you're going to be promoted more. It's just the way it is. But not everybody wants to put the same narrative out. Some people do want to put their own stuff out. I think that if this channel probably would have been bigger, had we probably gone a different direction and not been, maybe controversial in some regards, we could have taken a very straightforward approach. I don't think that would have been either Kyle's and I's personal views, though. I don't think it would have been us. And so when people say, "Well, I don't really care what people think," I think they mean it by that means that they don't care what people think as far as them being free to express themselves the way they want on the online. And I think that's important.
I think it's also important for me to just to kind of get your thoughts on this, David. What would the implications be if society as we know it, social media just stopped, and like we have knowledge of social media, like everything that we know now about social media, if right about now it was to stop, do you think it would negatively impact society or positively affect society?
Well, as long as you could keep the aspects that are important without, like, as long as you could keep the parts that benefit society. Okay, so let's just say,
but that's the thing. It's like you're the parts that are important to you are the communicating parts.
Well, it
right,
doesn't have
right,
to
because
be.
mass
It
communication is important
doesn't have to be
to the
all or nothing
human.
Right.
either,
The
because
exchange of ideas.
that's a twofold question. I think in the short term, I think it would be catastrophic. However, in the long
Yes.
term, it might actually be beneficial because people would be forced to interact with each other again. Maybe that's
Sure.
what's
And
maybe that's
people
what
would
we're
also be forced to go across the oceans to figure out what's going on overseas and to find out what's really going on, instead of relying on somebody else's input. The
we would still have
perspective
the
of thousands of people.
we would still have the internet.
Yeah.
We just wouldn't have social media platforms.
Right,
Mhm.
but how would people exchange their ideas, y'all? I mean, you would have to have everybody would have. I
Okay,
mean, unless you're
so
saying that
the
everybody would have their
flatter,
own website. I mean,
News and
well, yeah,
email.
but the Flat Earth Society has their own website. People actually find out about the Flat Earth through their website.
Here's the thing with
Like if you go
Jim,
on,
let me just make this point real quick. Here's the thing with social media. Or at least this is what I talk about. The sites that put an emphasis on the likes and upvotes and that
yeah,
sort of thing, where there's a number attached to whatever it is that you're doing. Now, things like
right.
websites or forums or emails, I don't count that as social media because that to me is not a negative. I think the ones that are negative are the ones that are putting an emphasis on what that number is attached, whether it be subscribers, whether
yeah,
it be likes,
applying your
be
daily life
you-
to the social
yeah,
media platform.
that's the negative aspect of
So,
it to me.
so you think that the subscriber aspect and the visual popularity contest of YouTube
Yeah.
is bad?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Jim, my channel is not a very large channel, but it's large enough that if I put out a video and I was to look back on it a day later and see that it had 35 views, for instance, I'd be devastated. I would think that I wasted my time on that video, and that is part of the negative aspect of social media. It's like
Not at all.
me posting that video and not getting the likes and views that I thought I was going to get, or that I felt like I deserved to get, would have a negative impact on me. It would legitimately have a negative impact on me because I would think I just wasted my time on that video.
Yeah,
Of
Riley,
course,
you can't. You can't.
we are humans. Things
can't regulate
things negatively impact us. Whenever we disappoint somebody or we don't meet a certain standard, it is devastating to us.
Riley, you
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to regulate that. It would definitely be up to society. I'm not saying that you should regulate it. The question was just asked what aspects of social media are negative, and I do think that is a negative aspect to it. Am I saying that social media overall is a negative thing? No, I think there's good things. I think there's bad things, but I think that a lot of people, especially younger people, are their entire sense of self-worth and being is attached to those numbers.
Yes.
It negatively affects them when they go in and they see, oh well, I only got 40 likes on this. That has an effect on your psychic, I think. Psyche, not psychic.
And there's a lot of people who, whenever they smell peanut butter, they can't breathe anymore. But that doesn't mean peanut butter's bad.
Well, I think
Yeah.
that's a false equivalent. One is a like an actual allergy. One is a mental thing. One's a physical allergy. I think that you can have a situation where it's an unintended consequence. I mean, surely they didn't put those things on there intending to be to cause this situation. It's just a byproduct of the culture.
No, the people of Facebook were talking about how that was kind of part of their initial business plan.
Sure.
Part of what made their platform so successful was the addictive
Yes.
the addictive aspect of
Yes.
their platform.
I mean,
And it
I'm
was
talking about
specifically targeted at
the
everyone.
byproduct is the negative impact, though. I don't think that they saw the negative, like the
I don't think
image
they
being
cared. I'm sure they did. No, I'm sure they did. They didn't care. These are businesses. They are going to do psychological manipulations, just like advertisements do psychological manipulations.
I'm not,
But
I don't have.
this is one of the reasons why I tell people you need a mental health day or so every so often. You need to turn off the internet and forget about every. I do it all the time, and I even tell Kyle, you won't hear from me for a day or two. And a lot of that is based upon I just don't want to deal with anything on the internet, and there's some other things going on. But I think everybody should do that every so often. If you don't step away,
It's responsibility.
you don't reset. You have to. Even in the job market, they have mental health days for that very reason, right? You just cannot be focused on it 24/7, 7 days a week, all year. You can't do it.
It's
So-
mental health is so under
Totally undervalued.
I mean,
And one of,
You gotta have them.
one of the
and I think that would
one
go a
of the
long
biggest
way to
problems-
problem in the long run, anyway.
Absolutely.
one of
And,
the
and
biggest
again,
problems with someone like
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Steve. Go ahead.
I was
Oh, I was
just
gonna
gonna say,
say
I just
one
want
of
to
the biggest
reiterate.
problems.
We do that all the time here. And when you're online a lot, I'm sure that everybody who makes videos, anybody who has these conversations, I think all of them will turn off all their internet every so often and just not deal with it. I'm pretty sure that most of them probably do. They admit it or not. And if they don't, they need to.
I
It's the
do.
most cathartic thing ever. Just to know for 24 hours, 48 hours, I don't have any fucking message to respond to. I have nothing email that's critical. I have nothing that's of any importance where I have to like stop what I'm doing and address some emergency situation. And we have them all the time. I mean, God and I, especially when we're planning stuff, fuck, this person did this, or we're trying to resolve this, or get this guest to this. It's an ongoing battle. It's part of the job, right? But it's nice to say every so often, it's like a little vacation. I don't have to respond to anybody messaging me for some whatever reason. Because I tell you, I get many messages, and they're busy bizarre. I just got one a second ago. It's just bizarre from a comment that somebody left. And it's just like I've explained this many times. What am I supposed to do?
The bigger issue to me, or in my opinion, is I think that this could be curtailed a little bit if we as a society got to the point where, this is going to go back to religion a little bit, if we got past the things that influenced us in a way that ultimately shouldn't, or that have no basis, for example, like religion, where that teaches us to be discriminative towards other people for no reason. If we can get through that and we learn to accept people for who they are and to appreciate people for who they are and for the differences that we all have, then that goes a long way to people's self-esteem, and they don't have to look to things like likes on a social media platform to get that they're missing. If we would take the time to appreciate one another, you wouldn't need the self-image that they would have about themselves would not have to be attached to a digital screen, because they would be able to get that in real life. And I think that is probably the first step to fixing.
I was going to liken it to a lot of other forms of communications we have. Like, people are saying, well, before the phone, there was the printing press, so we could print things. Like Jim was saying, we have newspapers and chat rooms and form letters and chain mail and so on and so forth. Then you get the telephone, so then you get conference rooms and conference calls and chat rooms on the phone. Those things actually existed for a while, a short while, because behind them was the internet, and the internet it's another form of communication. It's another platform, along with games, video gaming. So the two kind of go hand in hand. If you think about it, it's a natural extension of being able to send data across the wire. So it's just, I think a lot of it goes back to etiquette. And what do you expect when you get online?
Dave, nobody can hear you, by the way.
Your mic is way too low right now.
Okay, let me turn it up. I was going to say, it goes back to etiquette. Etiquette is important. Like, if you have an etiquette issue with a new platform, then the etiquette can get in the way of the message. So we haven't learned
Sure.
internet etiquette yet.
Oh, and that's the thing though, is that while we haven't learned it, you can definitely see the development of it, like us striving towards that direction. And once we reach like once we can pinpoint like the absolute benefits, and we can extract all of the potential benefits from social media, it is going to, and already has, greatly progress us as a species.
And yes, I'll agree with that. As far as the communications go, it's wonderful. The instant communication is. I mean, I grew up at a time when there was no instant communication. You know, we had to mail stuff back and forth. You paid bills by writing a check, sticking it in the mail, and mailing it in, and that's how you paid bills. You didn't go online to pay bills. So there is benefits to advancing.
What a horrible era.
Believe me, it was shitty.
But
Licking
but it's
stamps,
not
yeah.
that though. It's I mean, it's not just the communication. It's about being able to go to a Facebook group and being able to see a concentration of the same idea, like but to also have the ability to not have an echo chamber. That's personally why I go to different groups, is because I don't want to develop that echo chamber. I want to get different perspectives, and that is the only way that we are ever going to reach the quote unquote right idea about anything, is by exchanging ideas on as vast of a platform as possible. The better the sample size, the better the results of the experiment. That's something that's attested to time and time again.
Do you remember the
but
days? I remember when Facebook, like I remember being in college in 2004 as my first year at college, and I got an email there on campus from then it was the Facebook, and this was when Facebook wasn't available to everyone. It was, you had to be in college. You had to have a university email address, and it was just inter-college. Like, your college all could connect on Facebook, but you couldn't connect to another college yet. Like, this was the early days of Facebook. So it was just everybody at your college. And I remember when they just had the thumbs up. Like, that was it. There wasn't any of the other emoticons, the angry faces. And now there's a thing where end of last week, YouTube put out that they are they're taking down the thumbs down button, that they're going to be removing the thumbs down button. You can only upvote the videos that you like. So they're taking a step in the kind of that direction to kind of, I guess, try to curtail that a little bit. Their reasoning was kind of sketchy to me, but they're not clear in anything they say, though. That's the thing about YouTube.
They want people not to have a bad thing because, I got downvoted. So is it more of a psychological thing, or are they just tired of people downvoting videos? Because there've been instances of them removing supposedly downvotes on certain targeted videos, like Blizzard had videos they removed.
They say that they're having a lot of problems. They're having a lot of problems with bullying. I think it goes back to that. A lot of people, get really upset with and then atheists like to vote bot videos. They'll just go to your video and they'll just flag the piss out of it. So we got to get rid of that, Steve.
I don't have a problem with them getting rid of the downvotes. I really don't. I don't see a really need for them anyways.
Steve, as a creator, I like the downvotes. I like to see the interactions, Steve, and see how many of the opposing views are coming to my channel.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's PC culture, isn't that, Steve?
See, I don't necessarily. That's what it is.
I
think they'd just be doing it simply to help.
Here's the thing with me, though, with the downvote. Here's the thing with the downvote that people don't realize. To me, that goes a long way in the engagement with your algorithm, because let's say you take a stance on something, right? You don't know that you're getting people's attention until one of two things happen. Either you are widely loved or you're wildly hated. Either way, people love watching those two things. So if you get an extremely downvoted video, that doesn't necessarily mean people aren't watching it. That just means people are watching it and they're reacting to how you're, whatever it is that you're saying. So
Yeah.
I think
Unless
people
you're non sequitur, and then you have like 20 downvotes before the show even starts.
that's just listen,
Every
we're
time.
trendsetters here. We're trendsetters here. Okay.
Right?
We are trendsetters here.
Speaking of
And we're
which,
proud of
everybody
it.
in the live chat, please click that thumbs up right now.
I feel like this is probably
Yeah.
the longest debate roulette.
Or thumbs down. No, it's not.
I get so many. I get certain videos that have massive amount of thumbs down. I don't really care. They're all still votes. They still get on the what is it, the analytic for YouTube. But it's funny, the people that vote for downvotes, when you ask them about, okay, well, what is your contention here? It's all bullshit. It's just every single time. It's not because the video is bad or the content's bad. It's because they don't understand it or for some personal reason, right?
People vote
Oh,
as
thank
people vote as a tribe. You know what I'm saying? Like what happens is like the flat earthers come in and they'll all downvote. The incels for a while were coming in. They were downvoting. On this show, we tend to piss off. See, we don't just go after one group and have to deal with one group that we piss off. We piss off Christians. We piss off incels. We piss off anti-vaxxers. We piss off incel, like all of those. We piss off quite a few groups. So we just have to deal with what comes with that. It doesn't bother me. If you notice on our videos, if you look at the majority of the comments, the ones that are pinned to the top are the meanest comments I could find on that video. I pinned the meanest one to the top.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And anything Brett Keane writes, I always pin him to the top too.
Oh
So-
yeah, I mean, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But yeah, that was a good. It ended up being a good debate roulette. It didn't start out being a good debate roulette, but we'll see. We'll see when we bring it out next time. Maybe we'll retire it again for a little bit.
Yeah, this was fun. I really enjoyed this kind of like rapid fire thing.
When it
Makes
works,
you
it
think,
is
right?
fun.
Yeah.
When it
Oh,
works,
yeah,
it is
yeah,
fun.
it's-
I mean, you can prepare for a debate, but you can't
It's a
prepare
great concept. Although I would suggest doing these maybe at the beginning, like doing the wheel at the beginning of the show, having some content in the middle, and then having the debate at the end. I mean, maybe that would help get it lined out better. I don't know.
It's not us. It's the people that the biggest issue on this game is the people that vote and get picked and then don't show up because we have to
Yeah.
Yeah, I
spend
don't
that
get
time.
that. I don't
So
get
time
that.
consuming.
We have to spend that
So
time
time
waiting.
consuming. But now you guys know what it's like for Kyle and I, because we basically do this every day on different subjects, right? I mean, we have to learn about a subject really quickly, or sometimes we'll go in blind, but we have to discuss it, pro cons, and you have to do it on the fly. And so for you guys coming in to have the same thing for a specific topic, you're just getting a taste of what we do literally every day.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, I can tell you that. I
Not
mean,
easy.
if I say
Easy.
on, I'm coming on.
If you see what you're coming on,
Yeah. If I tell you that I'm going to be here, I'll be here.
oh yeah, no, you're reliable. Yeah, of course.
That's what you say.
You're reliable.
That's what you say.
Most of the content creators are like that. It's the people who don't normally produce content that feel like they feel strongly about a subject and then realize that they're about to put their beliefs up in front of a bunch of people, and it can be a bit much. I mean, if you're not used to it, it can be a bit much.
Hold on, Steve. Trash Vamp says, "Are y'all done already?" Trash Vamp, we've been on for 2 hours.
Yeah. What do you want from us?
Are we doing a Discord after chat thing or?
Yeah, I do a hangout in Discord after the shows now. So if you're
Cool.
if you're on the Discord, you can join us. I'm gonna pull up super chats now and
while he's doing that, another reminder: if you're going to be coming on to do these debate roulettes, or even if just anytime you want to pop on, make sure you have a decent mic. We've had a lot of people come on; the mics are just test them out. Go check it out. Do a web test. Get the audio settings correct, because it's really hard on people's ears when people come in and it sounds popish, or it sounds breathy, or it sounds dropouts. So do a little bit of test on it, and then it's easier for everybody else to not only listen to, but it gets your positions across better and more effectively.
Right.
okay. We'll have Brett Keane read the super chats as always. Pragmatic Culture says, y'all are always very professional and polite, never disappointed situation. Thank you, Pragmatic Culture. 0132 just cuz. The Faz, just cuz as well. Vibrant Brantley, just to be 1 cent better than 0132 Boom. 0132 in response. Brantley's lame. And then Brantley responds with, I might be lame, but at least I'm not a zero. Oh, that was
Damn.
Shots fired.
oh, he landed there. He landed there.
Stormtrooper.
Let's see. Who's your atheist? Who's your atheist says, Father Skeptic's right about social media. I'm going to quit YouTube by unliking and unsubscribing from all the channels. Just kidding. It actually would be something.
And I don't really group YouTube in that social media type thing. I think I really think it's more of like when in Facebook where you have people who are pushing their lives to try to get people who just look at them, to notice them.
But
I
have not seen so much vitriol on their platform until I went to YouTube, and that is a fact.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, this is a dark place. This is a dark place.
I've seen it on Facebook. Well, I mean, I'm involved in like 40 different groups on Facebook, and that's another problem. I mean, you're in so many groups, you can't really be active in all of them, right?
Twitter's the worst.
Yeah, no. Oh, Twitter's the cesspool from hell.
Twitter is the worst.
Well, so I guess what I mean to say is like on YouTube, it's hard for us to interact with the people with like the viewers on a daily basis. I mean, we can go through and comment and recomment and all that, but for the most part, it's really hard to form a relationship with somebody on YouTube just based through the creator viewer interactions. So I guess that's what I mean to say is like why I don't see YouTube the same as I see Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all of those others where it's those platforms are more built on forming relationships and finding new ones. I'm sorry.
Oh,
yeah, no, I agree.
Sorry, Team Skeptic, but there's sorry, Team Skeptic, but there's a very important war going on in the super chat. Wow. Where the hell did that come from?
They're having a dick size contest going on there.
Damn. Let me brush through these real quick so we can get to this war that's going on. All right, that's crazy. I don't even know what to say right now. Cookie Nib says just because I haven't seen any. Listen to this. Listen to Cookie Nib's famous last words though. Just because I haven't seen any super chats, great discussion. Euthanasia. I should be allowed to show the same compassion towards humans as I show my pet. Well, the super chats are coming in now, Cookie. Thank you for the super chat. Violent Brantley. It's been a while, so I thought I'd remind 0132 that I'm a better supporter of the channel situation.
Damn.
Sandring enters the mix. I'm a big fan of debate roulette. Please don't let flaky people. God, I need to stop reading for Brett for a second. I'm flustered. Please don't let flaky people stop you from having more of them. I swear, one of these days, I'll get into the gun control debate. Thank you very much for the super chat. And then again, he says, yay, I'm higher than Vibrantly Brantley. Vibrantly Brantley then in return says, well, son of a bitch. And then True Blue says, a school student going offline can sometimes intensify the bullying. It's a vicious cycle. And then Lysandering with, and then let me refresh. Good.
God. What the hell's going on here, people? This is a chat roulette. This is not like we had a big guest on. It's only Jim and Dave.
Wow.
Big deal.
Thank you, guys.
I'm happy to be a part of all this.
I'm gonna
becoming multimillionaires in one debate roulette.
I'm gonna tear up. I can really feel my eyes watering right now. Seriously.
I think it's more about who has a bigger dick.
0132 says trying to steal the win at the last minute. To be honest, thank you for the extremely generous super chat, and then thank you also for the extremely generous super chat. Sandring, not going to happen. And then Jim Major says, "I'm broke, but I'm going."
fuck's sake.
All right, okay.
Nah.
Come on, guys. No, seriously, we
All right,
don't.
look, listen, we love you, but you don't. This is not how you have to show your.
Yeah, this Stephen, we
you
have
guys have
Just-
done.
just
You guys have
thumbs up,
done.
guys. Just thumbs up.
Done enough.
It-
I'm really gonna get choked
Thank
up.
you.
I think. I'm really gonna
Yeah,
get
but you
choked
guys
up.
deserve this, man. Hey, you guys deserve it. You guys are fucking awesome.
do.
Everybody in the chat's
guys-
awesome, but they're here because you guys rock. So you guys deserve everything you're getting tonight. You'll never hear me
Right.
fucking say anything other than
This-
that.
I think it goes unspoken normally, but I feel like I have to say that this show I support more than any other show because I believe in what you guys do, and you guys do it the best, and that's all there is to it.
I'm still trying to
Wow.
figure out what we do, Steve.
I don't know. I don't know. I almost got a tear here.
I don't know what happens, and I'm here every night.
Um,
You know, I mean,
let me
we
try.
tried to put forth-
Let me try to get through the rest of these before I before
Yeah.
my all right. I can't say your name because it looks Chinese or Japanese. I don't know the difference, and I don't want to offend you, but I can't. Thank you for the super chat, though. I don't know how to pronounce that, but thank you for the super chat. Cookie Nibs, with a overly generous super chat. Checkmate with a smiley face. Wow, this is crazy. This is fucking crazy. And then Lysandring says, "I can go all night." Whew. Okay. All right.
For 150, 105, 150. Yeah, you guys, I mean, that's just like, yeah, enough's
That's
enough
crazy.
on that. We do appreciate it, but save it for other
Yeah.
episodes. I mean, this is a debate roulette, which was good.
You guys
but,
are
know,
amazing.
if we're gonna make
You guys are
chats,
amazing.
I'd like to see them on when we have a really amazing guest. Oh, Jesus.
Wow.
Oh my
Fuck's sake.
god.
I'm telling people.
Yeah.
You're gonna- thank you.
Gosh.
Now I
I'm
feel,
gonna cry.
I feel like we got nothing to offer you. It's like, for fuck's sake, we're ready to wrap up, and people are like,
Yeah,
super-chatting the shit out of
man.
it's like, God.
I feel like I need to.
They, they
like I
really
need-
I
love
feel like I
me
need to
and
give you a
Jim.
hand job now, people. Cookie, you want a hand job? I'm not. It won't be in the dark. Or it won't be in the light. It has to be in the dark. But you know,
There's
really-
I really normally I'm very good at coming up with something funny or witty, but I don't have anything now. Just thank you. That is overly generous and much appreciated.
yeah. Thank
So,
you.
I
All right,
I
then.
got no words.
Yeah, that's okay. Where do we go from? Wow. Yeah.
I mean, we there's nowhere to go but down.
Jesus. But seriously,
I'm
thank
happy
you
for you
guys.
guys, man. I'm fucking happy for you guys.
We
deserve it.
we love each and every one of you. You guys are, like I've said as always, you guys are the best live chat here on YouTube. I think they deserve a Kyle versus Steve debate. We can do that anytime. Just throw out a
Do a
subject.
debate roulette. A debate
Well, I've
roulette.
already started willing to debate
That's a
certain
real
things.
thing.
I'm trying to find a person to debate me on the whole agnosticism, but I can't find anybody. They just won't do it.
I can't do you on. I won't do you on that, but I'll do. I will debate you on doubt being a virtue again. We can have a rematch for the third
Kyle,
time.
Are
No,
you going
I
to do
mean,
it?
you lose. I mean, I've already demonstrated doubt is not a virtue. I don't even know where to go with that. It's just I don't think there's even
The people voted with my side on that one, my friend.
you people were
And
wrong.
people decide what's right or wrong.
Unless somebody
Are you
can tell me
kidding me?
what virtue ethic theory they're appealing to, they have no case. You
Oh,
have to, if that's
see?
virtue, you have to appeal to virtue
See?
ethic theory.
see, America.
There you
That's
go.
what he does. That's what he does. He puts conditions on what the truth is. I wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah,
I would not do that to you.
truth.
He's
All
a
right, I will.
conditionalist.
I will do a dramatic reading of a rap. Absolutely, it's the least I can do. Just give me what rap you guys want to hear, and we can do that. Any? Did you send me your rap, Team Skeptic?
No, I would have to. I can type one up. It would take about.
Oh
2
yeah, don't worry
minutes
about
to
that.
type
Then. Don't worry. We'll do that next time. What do you want to? What were you going to suggest, Jim?
Do "Mind of a Stoner" by Machine Gun Kelly.
Hazy says Notorious Thugs. I could actually
Notorious Thugs is a
there.
good
Listen
one.
to this. Listen to this. There was a time when I could actually do Notorious Thugs. There was a time. I wouldn't do it like out anywhere. It would just be in the when I was in my
Have you do Ruggish Thuggish Bone from like
Let's see.
1990?
Or do some what is it? Some South Park
Twista.
Mexicans.
Oh yeah, it's
They won't-
SPM.
let's
Yeah.
see. Everybody's saying Notorious Thugs. I think that's
I Must Be High by SPM.
Dave, can you
Right.
let me see. Dave, that song that I sent you last night, can you play that and just turn it really down low? You still have that?
I think I do. Hold on. We're
Okay. The people, TJ Kirk and Kyle for 2020. Yeah, I would be down for that. Get TJ Kirk to come back on and debate Kyle on whether corporate centrists are better for winning elections than actual real liberals.
Which one did you send me? Without a scratch or still standing?
I think it was still standing, I believe.
Okay.
Hey Kyle,
Thank
I
you.
have one that's really good for you. That's already it's not me. It's another rapper, but it's a really good one. If you end up needing one, let me know, and I'll email it to you.
Okay. Okay. Can do.
Here we go, guys.
And just turn it down really low because I'm just going to be reading this in a dramatic voice, but it'll set the mood. I tell you what, I'll read it as Lord Rael. How about that? It is Bone and Biggie. We going to rock the party. Just Bone and Biggie. Better run and tell everybody. Let's ride. And get high and get high. Let's ride. And get high and get high. No, Torious thugs. Nothing but them thugsters. No, Torious thugs. Nothing but them gangsters. Armed and dangerous. Ain't too many can bang with us. Straight up weed, no angel dust. Label us notorious. Bug ass that love to bust. It's strange to us. Y'all be scrambling and gambling. Up in restaurants with mandolins and violins. We just sitting here trying to win, trying not to spin. We are high off weed and oxygen. So much smoke, need oxygen. Steadily counting them Benjamins. Well, you should too, if you knew what this game would do to you. So-called beef with you-know-who. Fuck a few female stars or two. Blue light, move like Mike. Shit, not to be fucked with. Motherfucker better duck quick. Cause me and my dogs love to buck shit. Spit your game, talk your shit, grab your gat, call your click, squeeze your clip, hit the right one, pass that weed, I got to like one. All of them, I've got to fight one. All them hoes, I've got to like one. Our situation, it's a tight one. What you gonna do, Steve? Fight or run? Seems to me that you'll take B, Bone and Big, and die slowly. I'm gonna tell you what someone told me. Cash rule everything around me. Shit. Lyrically, you can't see me? Fuck it. Buy the coke. Cook the coke. Cut it. Know the bitch. Okay. That's all I got.
You actually started to sing it there. You.
Bravo.
Thank you.
That was great. It was great.
Yeah. The trippy part was there was there for a second, for a split second, I got to one of the N words, and I was like, I'm probably pulling this off so well, I could probably get by with it. And I had that internal dialogue with myself where I was like, should I just pretend I'm flying up to get away with it? No.
No, you're not.
Good job. You made
That's
the
a
right
good call.
decision.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's one thing whenever it's blaring in the car and you're like, 12 feet deep, but a completely different
Well, I
thing when you're
try
trying
to tell you so.
Oh,
But I guess you
when
know, as they say the story goes, baby, now I've got the flow. Because I knew it from the start. Baby, when you broke my heart, that I had to come again and show you that I'm real. You lied to me. All those times I said that I love you, you lied to me. But I tried. I hide. There you go. Okay, just because somebody asked. All right,
was
we got to get
Molly.
out of here.
Yeah, been sitting here too long. All right, that was great. That was fun. God, that super chat show was wow. That was just bizarre.
X Kyle because he can't talk. He's like quiet. Right at the end, his mic went out. Kyle's mic.
yeah, Kyle,
Oh,
we can't hear you, bro.
Oh, that Texas.
All right, I'm leaving. Bye.
Bye.